Il est essentiel que les mesures qui ont été indiquées soient absolument respectées par chacun de nous.
Lavez-vous régulièrement les mains à l'eau et au savon ou à l'aide d'un gel hydroalcoolique. Restez à au moins 1 mètre de distance des autres personnes, surtout si elles toussent, éternuent ou ont de la fièvre. Si vous avez de la fièvre, de la toux ou des difficultés à respirer, consultez un médecin.
There has been widespread condemnation of the recent wave of barbaric violence against civilians and aid workers in the northwest and southwest regions of the country. Suspected separatist fighters have gone as far as slaughtering and beheading civilians and aid workers. One of them is Tumasang Comfort, who was killed in Muyoka in the southwest region. The senior divisional officer for FACO, Emmanuel Ngamba Ledu, visited Muyoka to extend a condolence message from the head of state, President Paul Biya. Our reporter, Guy Rojenana, was there.
The Makanga neighborhood in Muyuka subdivision will forever be associated with the gruesome murder of a struggling mother of 2 who was reportedly arrested by 3 unidentified men who later murdered her in cold blood without clearly explaining to her why she was given such a treatment. The mother of the deceased is yet to understand exactly why her daughter was killed in such cold-blooded manner.
It just come for you say, give you the first thing on your phone. Say give you your phone. It go take the phone. It can't give them. They say car will go. It will woke up. They follow them. They pass so they go and some quarter. So the one come there. They hide their collars. They don't bring collar me the same. They hide their collars. They take in out the go and some quarter. They want to go tie for some stick. They say some people that will come out. They say no. No come out. Water. If the guy do not no kill for you. Now that put for safety. But what about no in that time? Now that boy was that some quarter was. They for safety. Then 3 they been there.
The senior divisional officer for FACO, Emmanuel Ngamba Ledu, paid a visit to the bereaved family.
I've come to Muyoka today, first of all, to extend the condolence message of the head of state to the bereaved family of late Mrs. Tumazan, who was brutally assassinated a couple of days ago by criminals pretending to be fighting for an unknown cause. These criminals are going to be prosecuted, and action has been undertaken to make sure that they are tracked down.
Meanwhile, the rest of the population here was reassured that the perpetrators of this act will be fished out and brought to book soonest.
Thanks, Giro Jenana, who has joined us on the line to Boya. Giro Jenana, good evening. Yes, Giro Jenana, just to know, in fact, we've seen the pathetic incident that happened there from the video that you played and then the visit of the DO. What was the reaction of the population of Muyuka when you went there, Giro Jenana?
Actually, Muki Edwin Kinzeka, it was a sad scene that or rather it was more of a sad feeling that we had once we stepped foot into Muyuka subdivision today. But generally, from the faces of those we met there, I want to say that personally I read the feeling of reassurance, the feeling of confidence, certainly as a result of the ground or field work that has been done so far by the administrative authorities and even the security officials and authorities who have actually been visiting and revisiting the area area within the recent past, within the recent days, given that they have had to find ways to ensure that the population actually recalls, or rather gets that feeling of trust as a result of the fact after, of course, this gruesome incident which occurred over there a few days back.
Giroje, did you meet the children of Comfort Tumasan?
Yes, Moki Edwin Kinzeka, we met the children of Comfort. We met two of her children. We met her nieces and nephews as well, because she lived in a family house, in a family home with her mother as well. We were privileged to meet these individuals who just had a sad story to tell us. As you may have noticed in the report that we sent to you, her mother was quite dumbfounded, because each time you asked her a question, she will certainly respond with a smile which was her own way of translating her despair, her sadness, given that she herself cannot tell exactly why her child actually was submitted to this very, very, very sad situation, which we actually recounted out there.
There have been media reports that the suspected killers were arrested. Did you discuss with authorities there to find out if the information is true?
Well, we went to Moyuka today with the Senior Divisional Officer for FACO, Mr. Emmanuel Ngamba Ledoux. He was equally accompanied by the Divisional Officer for Moyuka, Mr. Rossignol Tani Ako. And of course, these top officials actually made us to understand that work is being done on the ground to ensure that the perpetrators of this act are put to book. And I want to believe that for security reasons, they couldn't tell us more than what they actually told us, that is that the situation is under control and everything is being put in place to ensure that the actors involved in this gruesome act are put to book. So far, that is the lot that we actually saw there. But Muki, before we go, maybe I tell you an incident which we actually witnessed at the Moyuka main market. It is a situation which took the Senior Divisional Officer for FACO as well as the DO for Moyuka and even the MP for the area, Honorable Findi Stanley Mokondo. They were taken aback, or the youths of the area actually staged a spontaneous march, Muki, to protest against acts of violence within their locality. And of course, these authorities were really surprised by this initiative, given that their visit to the locality today was not a planned one. They just decided to storm the area and surprise the locals there today. But amazingly, the youths also said, okay, our voices should be heard. And the best way for them to make their voices heard, Moki Edwin Kinzeka, was for them to actually stage this particular march. They were carrying placards within the Moyuka market and, of course, telling the SDO directly. They had the opportunity of discussing with him and expressing their grievances. And, of course, the main worry that the youths out there were expressing were the worry for security. They said they are tired of insecurity. They are tired of the killings within their locality. They want peace. They want their locality to come back to the way it was. They want development. They want stability. They want serenity. And, of course, they want peace. No more blood. You shall be seeing more of these in subsequent reports that we shall be forwarding to CRTV News and even to the CRTV mother channels within your future news editions, Muki Edwin Kinzeka.
Yeah, briefly before you go, besides the youths who were protesting today, what has been the reaction across the globe in the Southwest region?
Well, in the Southwest region, it's been a feeling of sadness. I must admit, all or almost all of those we've had the opportunity of talking to or having the opportunity of getting their opinion about the situation, it's a general feeling of dismay, sadness, and of course, everybody here to the least has condemned this particular situation. And the major cry here is that perpetrators of such acts should be called to book. And of course, there is also this call for conscience awakening. Yes, here, as people are saying, it is okay for a few people to disagree with certain policies or certain things, but of course, it is it's equally the right people to express themselves, but they shouldn't trample on the rights of others by killing, by threatening their lives, by kidnappings and all that. So it's a general feeling of rejection on all acts of violence that have been perpetrated in the Southwest region so far. And this particular one is like a final full stop that has been hit here on within this long line of incidents that have been happening here. The people are so disgusted and tears, both outwardly and inwardly. That is the feeling that the people here generally have when they think of this incident that happened in Moyoka Moke.
Thanks very much, Giroje Nana. I got one thing from you. Let there be peace. Thanks, Giroje.
Thank you, Moki Edwin Kinzeka, and of course we extend the cold weather, or rather the warmth from Boya to Yaoundé. We are extending it to you through Twilight this evening.
We receive it, Giroje Nana. Let's take yet another break, and when we come back, we shall go on to the North region to meet Clave Pascal Ndanga, and then we come back to the studio to meet our guests. Let's have a break.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
Très heureuse de vous retrouver pour ce nouveau numéro de Carré Social. À la une, lutte contre les maladies prostatiques au Cameroun, une campagne de dépistage de ces maladies.
Comment se faire détecter? Ça signifie qu'à partir de 40 ans, pour des sujets dont un membre de la famille a eu à développer un cancer, il est préférable de passer voir un médecin. Les causes peuvent être multiples.
La couleur verte est la couleur la plus présente dans la nature, n'est-ce pas? On l'associe à l'espoir et à la chance.
Toujours ce 17 novembre, le monde célèbre la journée mondiale du souvenir de la circulation routière. Placée sous le thème « La vie n'est pas une pièce de rechange de véhicule ».
Now, the North region can now sleep in peace after the National Gendarmerie arrested 33 suspected cross-border kidnappers. The operation, baptized Adamawa North, led by Generals Aga Robinson and Pierre Lubazar, made a stopover at Bibemi in search of criminals. Calvet Pascal Ndanga was with them and is now joining me live on the line to Garwa. Pascal, what is the security situation like in the North region that share long borders with the Central African Republic, with Chad, and then with Nigeria?
Bonsoir Moki, bienvenue à Garwa. Selon les autorités de la région du Nord, la situation sécuritaire est globalement sous contrôle, malgré quelques phénomènes d'insécurité, notamment les enlèvements avec demande de rançon, le phénomène de coupeurs de route, le vol de bétail, ainsi que d'autres formes d'insécurité qui se développent au niveau des frontières de la région. Mais ce qu'il faut dire, c'est que nos forces de défense et de sécurité restent mobilisées pour traquer jusqu'à leur dernier retranchement ces hordes criminelles.
Yes, you are saying that the security forces are mobilized there, and that should be the reason why they launched this operation. You just named the Adano that made a stopover in the locality called Bibemi, Pascal.
Il faut dire que depuis 2 ans déjà, le président de la République, Paul Biya, a prescrit l'opération Adano, Adamawa Nord, qui se déroule simultanément dans les 2 régions et qui permet de lutter efficacement contre le phénomène des enlèvements avec demande de rançon, de vol de bétail, mais également la lutte contre la contrebande dans ces différentes régions. Et des hommes sont donc déployés dans des zones ciblés pour traquer ces hors la loi qui ont décidé de mettre les populations, n'est-ce pas, en insécurité. Alors pour cette occasion, les Pandores ont sillonné les localités de Padarmé, Mayolopé et Bibémi dans l'arrondissement du même nom et ont, n'est-ce pas, mis la main sur 33 présumés et preneurs d'otages et un important matériel issu de la contrebande et, n'est-ce pas, également du matériel roulant qui servait à ces présumés preneurs d'otages pour commettre leur forfait. Alors l'intensification donc de cette opération à Adamawa Nord vise donc à lutter et à juguler l'insécurité dans la région du Nord.
You are not leaving us yet. I just wish to know if the population of that part of the country is collaborating with the defense and security forces, because that's been the cry everywhere in the country. Pascal?
L'appui et la collaboration entre les forces de défense et de sécurité est réel. Et c'est cela d'ailleurs qui a permis d'obtenir jusqu'ici l'ensemble des résultats qu'on connaît depuis le lancement de cette opération. On a assisté à la redynamisation également des comités de vigilance dans les différentes localités où le problème était prégnant. Les autorités administratives et sécuritaires appellent une fois de plus les populations à renforcer cette collaboration pour que les missions et les objectifs assignés à la lutte contre les sécurités dans ces différentes régions soient assurés.
Before you go, Pascal, what has been the implication of the traditional authorities, especially the government officials, in fighting crime?
En se rendant d'ailleurs aux côtés des hommes déployés sur le terrain pour assurer ces missions, le général de brigade Pierre Loubazal, commandant la 3e région de gendarmerie, et le général de brigade Aga Robinson Dong, commandant la 3e région militaire interarmée, ont tenu à transmettre tout d'abord leurs encouragements et ont rassuré de la détermination des forces de défense et de sécurité à assurer la tranquillité des populations dans ces différentes localités en proie, n'est-ce pas, à l'insécurité, notamment le phénomène d'enlèvement avec demande de rançon, mais surtout le vol de bétail et la lutte contre la criminalité transfrontalière.
Clave Pascal Ndanga, thanks very much for being there. But we shall also get the reactions of some of the men who masterminded the operation. The reactions were collected for us by a reporter that we just watched there, Clave Pascal Ndanga. Let's get the reactions of the generals who are commanding that operation.
Can work diligently and now get down to the ground roots of this matter and bring it to a final end. To understand that you, the media too, you have a role to play. You're not just coming here and taking interviews. You must train the population, inform the population, explain to them their roles, so that all of us, hands in gloves, will have a role to play so that criminality comes to a minimum in this area. So, and then the general was just saying that what happens in the other areas, mostly the population who denounces the criminals. And it's easy, therefore, for us to go directly to the criminals and not to harass the population. It is very, very important. We should go above the stigma of fear. We should not claim to be afraid, not to denounce them. And then all those who will denounce, their security will be protected, their identity will be protected. So it's important that we denounce them so that we don't have criminality in this area. Here it's relatively under control because the population has been working hands in gloves with the forces of law and order. It's good that the other areas emulate this example so that criminality comes to a globe. And then this border trafficking, people living from other countries and coming here, selling goods without authorization is forbidden. So we should fight against that. It kills the economy of our area. So it's important that those who bring goods from external countries to our nations pay the taxes, the dues. And the population has to help us so that the economy is revised. Instead, they should not support those involved in this illegal trade.
La prise qui a été faite dans le Mayo-Louti, dans l'arrondissement de Mayo-Oulo, a été faite sur la base de pression renseignements que la population a donné. C'est sur la base de ces renseignements-là que la prise des ravisseurs du gang qui écumaient l'arrondissement de Mayo-Oulo a été démantelé. Donc nous souhaitons que la population s'investisse davantage et qu'elle nous assiste en matière de renseignement, parce que les ravisseurs vivent dans les villages, ils vivent à l'intérieur des localités, et les populations doivent nous aider dans ce sens-là. Alors il est également important de vous dire pourquoi nous sommes ici aujourd'hui. Pourquoi est-ce que cette zone a été ciblée pour la circonstance? Vous savez que le grand marché d'Adoumri a lieu aujourd'hui. Et c'est un marché sous-régional où les grands vendeurs de bétail se donnent rendez-vous et où d'importantes sommes d'argent sont brassées. Et malheureusement, les ravisseurs ont cette information et ils circulent dans les marchés, ils identifient les grands éleveurs qui font de grands achats ou alors qui vendent beaucoup de bétail et les filent jusqu'à ce que, après la vente, après le marché, ces grands vendeurs de bétail fassent l'objet d'enlèvements assortis de demandes de rançon. Donc les malfaiteurs choisissent justement les jours de grands marchés pour se déployer également, parce qu'ils savent qu'à l'occasion, beaucoup d'argent circule. C'est un peu pour cette raison qu'on se trouve ici aujourd'hui, parce que le grand marché d'Adoumri, que vous allez visiter tout à l'heure, a lieu aujourd'hui, et c'est un grand rendez-vous de grands éleveurs de bétail qui viennent pour la plupart de la sous-région. C'est pour ça que nous sommes ici aujourd'hui. Et dans l'anticipation de cette opération, nous avons pris ces individus dont la situation sera examinée tout à l'heure, mais tout laisse penser que parmi eux, on pourrait avoir des ravisseurs. Tout laisse penser que parmi les gens qui ont été interpellés, il pourrait y avoir des ravisseurs. Donc nous avons anticipé.
Let's now talk about the International Center for Cultural Heritage in partnership with the Lutheran Hour Ministry that is organizing free courses in Cameroon languages and cultures. The course is for children aged 6 to 15 years and will take place at Lutheran Hour Ministry at Elixono, here in the nation's capital, that is in Yaoundé. Another training is for adolescents aged 16 to 25 years. Now, we question the importance of national languages and cultures with Professor Ndip Messina, who is Associate Professor at ENS and Coordinator of the Teaching Activities of the International Center for Cultural Heritage. You're welcome, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting us to speak about something interesting like the national languages and culture. Thank you, Moki.
Thank you very much. We have Dr. Camden Emmanuel, who is Director of the Lutheran Hour Ministries. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you, Edwin. Thank you for welcoming us on Twilight.
Now, I will start with you, Professor Ndipnu Messina.
Yeah.
Ndipnu Messina, are you from the Central region?
I am from the Central region, but I'm married to somebody to the Northern region.
Northern region
Yes.
of the country?
Yes.
Okay.
Then he's Ndipnu and I am Messina.
I'm still trying to make the arithmetic, the link between Ndipnu and Messina.
Yes, Ndipnu is the name of my husband and Messina is my name.
Okay.
And I don't like to put Eps. Yes, it's too long. Then I just
hyphenated.
Yes.
And you are a lecturer at the at ENS.
Yes.
Now, you have been organizing this course in partnership with Lutheran Hour Ministry to talk about languages and cultures. So what importance is it at a time when people want to speak English, want to speak French, they want to feel civilized? What is this all about then?
For example, now when we are talking about civilization, it's like African countries, we don't have civilization. Africa is the mother of the civilization. Then when now we are only thinking of talking, speaking French and English, is forgetting that our own identity relies on our languages and our cultures. We cannot move ahead. You will never hear a French person saying that I am civilized because I'm speaking Mungaka, Bassa. He will still say Mboma, Mboma. And we will find it natural to speak that a Frenchman can mispronounce our names. Then it is important that a child should know how important is his mother tongue, his culture and the cultures to cohabitate with the others. Because now, you see a child saying that you as a Bamileke, you know that you are there only to sell, to buy lands. That is not a good shame for us. Not shame in French is I used to mix.
You can speak in English and French as a bilingual.
Okay, thank you. Then I will force myself to be speaking in English. Yes, more in English. Because now we have to share our identities. We have to know that the other one is important to me. I should go in the North region. I know that when I'm in front of the Lamido, I have to behave like this. When I'm in front of a chief in the Bafoussam or Batufam, or I am in the Northwest region, I have to speak like this. And I have to behave like this. I used to take the examples that when you are a child, you know that when you come in the Central region, you can greet somebody, maybe he's a chief, because in the Central region, there is a patriarchal respect. You respect the elders. But when you will go to the Northern region, the Northwest region, when you will be in front of the chief, you have to stay that this distinction that we have now is in front of the chief. You know that your chief is more than even the head of the state. But now, when you have to greet, for French people, you have to greet everybody individually. But when you have more people, that you will come and say charity when it is 1 or 2 people. But when now you will come and see more people, you have to clap your hands 7 times.
Community greeting.
Yes. Then that is cultural. And if you don't know that, what will you give to the others? To Europe, when now people have money, is that they know how to sell their culture. They know how to sell their languages.
No, interesting. Let's come to Dr. Kamdem Emmanuel. I mean, Luther Our Ministry is involved with this aspect of culture and languages. So what importance is that to you?
Thank you once more, dear Muki Edwin. Luther Our Ministry, as you know, is the local representation of the International Laymen League. International Laymen League, Lutheran Laymen League, which is based in the state of Missouri, in the United States of America. And our aim is to promote the development of the holistic development of communities. And when we talk about holistic, we talk about culture. And when we talk about culture, we talk about beliefs. So Lutheran Ministry is not a church, it's a body that helps in promoting development communities. So when my friend and we happen to know each other for more than 30 years, she's the brain behind the project. When she came, I said, okay, let's put hands on deck and see how we can help the youth. Because when you hear about violence, people don't tolerate. But if you learn the language of your classmate, if you learn the language of your benchmate, you tolerate certain things because you will have to share the same vision. So language is first of all a vision. So if I am Bamileke and I try to learn the Mungaka or the Bassa, at least there will not be language discrimination. I will be reinserted because now we are talking about IDPs. When they come, just by saying, maybe the neighbor says, Bemben Kiri, and she replies, Kirimbe, is already an asset. It's already an advantage to someone who will say, hey, don't disturb me, I'm not understanding anything. So with this type of migration, people from Boko Haram running, and you know that in Cameroon, the rates of, there is a high tendency of urbanization. And when you talk about urbanization, you talk about the youth who are uprooted from their traditions. So this is an occasion for us to bring them together. First thing, let them not be idling, watching the novellas, watching, you know what happened, the younger one who was trying to imitate Spider-Man. That is not a culture. So if he had an occasion like this where he could have songs, he could have proverbs from his tribe, he could have, because when you talk about culture, there is about many things, food, dressing, songs, and the beliefs.
Now, Doctor, wow, interesting to hear from you, but I'll come back to the professor here. Professor, we're talking about a country that has over about 300 languages. You want to promote all of these 300 languages? We have not gone speaking English and French and Nam, so you want to add the Mungakas, the Fufudes, and the other languages in it. It will be heavy.
It seems to be heavy, but luckily for us, we have up to 300 and above. Nigeria has 400, but they succeeded to promote only 4 major languages. In Cameroon, when we have what we call vehicular languages. When you have a vehicular and transnational languages, for example, we have 2 transnational languages spoken in Cameroon and other countries. We have Fufude spoken in Cameroon, Chad, Mali, even Senegal. This is a transnational language. Betifang is spoken in Center, in Cameroon, Guinea Equatorial, and Gabon. You see that we have already 2 major languages, and the others should not be forgotten, because they also are vehiculars. When somebody will speak Mejumba, you will see that around at least half of people of the grassroots can understand Mejumba, Homala, Fefe, and if you go now to we have Mada, Tupuri, but all those languages, they are sharing what we are calling linguistic particularities that are tones. You have tones, you have the alphabet, you have even greetings. If you say now Chati in Mungaka, I'm sure that you will see another region greeting like that. Like Zale, you have others. That we are only divided by the map. It's only the map, geographical map, that is dividing the Cameroon. But you will see that people from, for example, Mejumba can be found in the northwest region.
I was just giving an example. Bafia people who came to Mbambum in the northern region are also sharing links with Sok people and Kambi people in the northwest region. So that is a linkage. No, but I'm asking, Doctor, when you watch and see the mutations in societal mutations now, you've observed that most of our families, the man is from, I don't know, this tribe, the woman is from this tribe, the parents of the man and woman came from different tribes. Is it not something that would disturb or that fails to promote the national languages we have?
No, instead it's an advantage. My wife is an Eton. I am from the West. It's good to have...
Do you speak your wife's language?
I try, and she also tries, and the children will learn. The variety is not it's an asset. The variety is a richness. We are rich because of our differences. When you look at Kamala Harris, she chosen because she had something different. And in global world, as a global village, it's a give and take. If you can't give anything, you will not take anything. Okay? So these marriages and all these things, I think it should not be, it is instead an advantage.
Professor?
Yes.
You think that is an advantage when they have it? Because when the father speaks another language, the mother language, children are lost. They don't know which language to speak.
They are not lost.
They are between English, French, the language of the mother and the language of the father.
Let's take an example of people speaking only French. Which kind of French are they speaking? First of all, it's not if we agree that they are speaking only French. They are speaking bad French. Franc-anglais, pidgin English. When somebody is already there, he is 15 years old, and he doesn't even know the language of the father, the noun of the language of the father. We have people like that. He thinks that he is a Frenchman. Who can be a Frenchman? We are all black, no matter the color of the skin. Then, before, the mother is supposed to give the language as before. Is why holidays in national languages and culture is good. Because before we know that the lady is supposed to go to the village of her husband to learn the language. Is why they say that, do you know your in-law, your mother-in-law? She's the one giving the language, not the husband. And when you are married, you go to the village of your husband, you learn the language, and now you, the mother, you have the right to transmit your own language and the language of your husband. Is why they're saying that mother tongue, mother, Not because it's the mother tongue of the mother, but because she is the one in charge, assuming the transmission. And this is a failure when we are moving only in quote, modern society, that we are forgetting that we are Africans. And Africa, we have the right to study the languages of our husband, our grandfather, and the child doesn't have any problem to acquire even 7 languages. You see, if you have a child, this child in your compound, when you say good morning, he will say good morning as you. If you say good morning, every time he will say good morning. When you go to the neighbor, the neighbor is saying Olandi, he will say also Olandi. He will go to another Ewondo man, he will say Bembekiri. Yes.
You told me earlier on that your husband is from
Bali,
Northwest region.
Northwest region.
And that you are from
Mangisa and Yambasa Nugunu.
And then you say that women should go to their tribes and learn the language of the husband. I just wanted to find out, do you speak Bali?
Mungaka is Mungaka. Bali, they are people. Those people are called Bali.
The language Mungaka.
Yes, the language is Mungaka.
I would like to see that used properly.
Sometimes I'm hearing well, but to speak, I can exchange. How are you?
I want to hear it. I will not know, but I want to hear you speak. Because you
but I say that Olandi.
I'm saying because things you are saying, as if they are abstract, as if you could speak languages like that.
Like I'm saying Olandi, when you are asking Osani, Oli Bonkete, Orea, Baraba Matafan, something like that. I know. Yes, I know how to exchange.
Which language do you speak again in Cameroon as somebody who promotes languages?
Douala sometimes. When you say Idibabuam, Nasomjita, Namala E, Unamala, that is different because if you change the tones, you are, yes.
Added to that, you speak English and French.
Yes, we are speaking English now, and I'm more fluent in French, but I'm speaking English.
The same thing with you, Dr. Camden. Your wife is from the Central region.
From the Central region.
From which tribe is your wife?
Eton, Vokani, and.
And where are you from?
I am from Upper Plateau.
I want to see if you also, who is promoting languages? Do you speak Eton?
I try.
I'm listening to you.
I can say.
You see, you're lost somewhere.
No,
say a few words does not mean that you speak the language.
No, I can't speak.
But you say a few words.
But I can, because language is an evangelism tool to us. So Bassa, I can say Someme, because most of the areas where we evangelize Bassa. I can say Bafia, yes. I can say Pisen.
Now, you talk about languages. When you go to France, they have one language. They speak French. Am I mistaken or not?
It's a mistake. It's a very
That's the official language.
That is official language. When you know the history of French, it was spoken by island, by a king, maybe 100 inhabitants inside. And the first one, they call it the Francois. And that king imposed the Francois language.
Which has become now a language for all the French citizens.
Yes.
We don't have that same situation. The way you are going to Germany, the first you must study German. People go and pay in German school. If you had to come to Africa, which language would you?
In Africa, if it is the whole Africa, for example, if you go to Burundi, you are forced to know Swahili, Kiswahili. You cannot go to Burundi, Rwanda, you don't know those languages, Uganda. If you go also, even the southern Africa, if you go to South Africa, if you don't know Hausa, you will not go somewhere.
So what can we be proposing for Cameroon?
For Cameroon, we have
Fulfulde
and Betifan for scientific reasons, because now it is seen that it is transnational. We cannot impose nowadays a language. We are obliged to choose only transnational language to start. And we can also take representative languages for regions. We have 10 regions, and if we start already 1111, it will be like in Mali, they have 12 official languages. And when you go to a region, you must know that language. If you come to the center and they have chosen, for example, Betifan,
you must be forced to speak.
Yes, when you have a competitive entrance, you have to speak that language. Like now it is done in the secondary school, but even though it is not obligatory to with the discipline, language, national language and culture. But it is now like that.
Now we shall be talking on how the training will be taking place, but Doctor, do you feel that we already have endangered national languages in Cameroon, disappearing languages?
Yeah, of course.
Which ones?
Because language are like it's a human body. It is born, it lives and dies. And the same way you take care of your body, language should be taken care of by promoting them, oral, written, programs like what you are doing now. That's what and to encourage people to speak the language. That's what will make language to be lively. And
do you have any examples of dead languages or languages that are fading out already? Fading away in Cameroon, in the case of Cameroon.
You have there are languages like the Lundu that are fading.
Where was it spoken, the Lundu?
The Lundu I think it's in the littoral region. Yes, those are languages. When they classify the number of speakers, there are not as many as the other languages. So language needs to be promoted, and this is one of the objective of the program. And you remember that before, because I hear you are insisting on French and English, but let me remind you that pre-independence period, those same people, French, German, they use our local national languages to preach the gospel.
Yes.
To teach. But why is it that now in postmodern area, people think that no, we should move ahead French, English, when those same colonial people use it, discover that it was instrumental in propagating faith and evangelizing. So we should try to deconstruct that kind of stereotypes. It is not useful for our development. And if you read the President Paul Biya books, Pour le libéralisme communautaire, his national language is an asset in terms of development.
If you were to look at, we've spoken a lot about languages, is this the same thing for cultures that we have, that we're not, protecting, defending and conserving them? But some are very dangerous, by the way.
Yes, some aspect of the cultures. And I totally agree that cultures can disappear, but as we have major cultures, we can divide the country in 4 and 5 major cultures. When you go to the north region, not only the big north, and you go to the south
Grafi area, that is the northwest and west region.
Yes.
Southwest and littoral.
Yes, Sawa people.
Center, south, yeah.
You see, you have majors, and you will see even that there are similarities from Tika people and even the west region, that the cloths. Then for that, it is not that they would die, but we have to protect our heritage. For example, we have the traditional manner of solving problems. When my grandfather was a child, he used to fight with his brother. And he told me that, you know that when I used to fight with my brother, you know what my father did? He came with sticks, 50 sticks, put it there, 50-50. You have to beat each other with the 50 sticks up to the stick is finished. They spent the whole day beating each other. From that day, they never fought again. That is a traditional manner of solving problems. Yes. Now we can take the marriages. You know that in Africa, when you are going, it's for good, for traditional, that they are not eating twice from a woman.
Yes.
But now that the postmodernism is coming, you cannot, and you will see that. What I like, the first time that I attended a marriage in Bali, is that the lady said, see, my child, you have to tie your hat, no matter what you see, no matter what you do, you have to tie your hat. That is what they are not saying to ladies now. Is that if nothing is good, you just go.
You have your right.
Yeah, you must stay where you are. You must
yes. Knowing that with time, everything will be solved. That is why we have to go back to our culture. And when you are a child, when you are a girl, they will say that you can do things of men, but you will never be a man. You know that your place will be always somewhere settled. That is tradition. You don't need the Bible to know that the place of a lady is there, the place of the man is there. No matter the amount.
Let's now spend the next 5 minutes to talk about the contents of the training that you're going to be giving out. The first one is for children aged 16 to 25, and it's going to be at Eliksono, from what you've said. What is going to be the contents of the training of these children aged, no, the first one is from 6 to 15 years old.
Yes.
What's the content of that training? What should these children be learning about cultures and traditions of over 300 groups in Cameroon?
We have separated culture and language. First of all, for 6 to 15 years is speaking the language, knowing the alphabet, knowing how to write.
Which of the languages?
We have Fulfulde, Mujumba.
Okay, the language you just cited, which are predominantly spoken majority. Okay,
yes. Then they can choose 1 or 2 languages, because the first language chosen will be taught by a teacher, and now they will have what they call in French tronc commun with the second language chosen. Then the content will be specifically oral for less of 10 years, and they will go progressively to the written part, but they will have also to produce poems by themselves that they will have to produce orally to show that they learned something from one language. Then for culture, they will have like songs, they will have dances, but to know where to dance, which dance. They will not go and say that I saw the Kugang and I will go there. It's a ritual. Then they have to know rituals. They have to know also that this is not a good ritual, but not a ritual adapted to you.
But now let's come to you. What about the children from 16 to 25 years who are also going to be trained?
Yeah, I think at their level they are already mature, so the knowledge there will be at least a bit deeper. So, but having the same specificities, that is speaking aspect, the written aspect, and then we may, maybe in group, ask them to bring some myth from their traditions, to bring some poems also from their traditions that they can share, because, you know, language is a vision. Language is a second body, language is a second skin, language is a second soul. So bringing them, trying to brainstorm together will help them to be tolerant to each other.
Is it the first time you're organizing this type of event encounter?
Yeah, it's the first time. I think it will make it annually, because from the feedback that we are having, and maybe extend it even to the 10 region. Why not? So we need people like you and to help us.
You already have a powerful lady here, Professor Ndidmo Messina, who speaks and convincing people. Now, Professor, maybe you have the last message you want to pass to those people who are watching you now and who may have been enlightened at what you do and want their children to learn their national languages. I must tell you, my own children don't speak Lamso. They don't also speak. That's very bad.
Yes, they are surely welcome, and we will have a Lamso teacher.
Especially. Yes.
Because children. The teachers are coming from the Department of Linguistics.
They're experts.
They are experts. Then they are also young, and they need to prove themselves that they are doing something good. Then the Department of Linguistics will provide us with their students, at least with a degree, and they will be welcome to teach. And they are also my students, then they will be selected. And we have to say that we have proposing also for teenagers online courses, because if they are not able to come time to time to the centers, they are...
Okay, they can do it at home.
Yes.
Interesting enough. Yeah. Now, is there any fee to pay?
No. You know, Lutheran Army is free. We live on donations from everybody, from you, from me. So we give free because the aim is to bring hope to the hopeless. And when you don't know your language, you are a hopeless man.
What about the situation of those our brothers from Northwest and Southwest? They also need that type of hope. They also want to, that they are feeling at home.
Of course, we have been working with them. We have a teenage mother program, a workshop where we welcome them to help them learn something. how to sew clothes, how to dye clothes, how to manufacture savon and other chlorine bleach. So Lieutenant Amnesty is open to those who can come and have rest.
I want to thank you very much, Professor Dipnu Messina, who is from ENS and coordinator of the teaching activities of International Center for Cultural Heritage. Thanks very much for coming, ma'am.
Thank you also.
And you too, Dr. Camden Emmanuel, who is director of the Lutheran Armed Ministries. Thanks very much for coming.
The pleasure was mine.
But you stay with us because we are moving to the newsroom now to meet Christelle Avom, who shall be talking to us about developments in the country and out of the country within the past hours. Bonsoir, Christelle.
Bonsoir.
Comporte-toi, que justice soit faite.
Effectivement, Moki, les auteurs de l'assassinat de la jeune Comfort Toumasson, 32 ans, seront pourchassés et mis aux arrêts, a déclaré le gouverneur de la région du Sud-Ouest, Bernard Okaliabilai. Consterné par cet acte de barbarie, il a encouragé les populations à dénoncer toute personne rendue coupable de crime. C'était lors de la réunion de sécurité avec tout le Gotha administratif et les membres des organisations internationales et ONG. Le rapport, Gilles Mbon.
La dignité de Dame Afiri Comfort a été mise en pièces. La vie de la mère de 2 enfants a été brutalement ôtée mardi par une bande de hors-la-loi à Muyuka, dans le département du Fako. Un crime de trop qui a suscité l'indignation totale de tout le Gotha administratif et de l'ensemble des organisations non gouvernementales internationales qui prenaient part à cette réunion. L'acte crapuleux ne restera pas impuni selon le gouverneur de la région du Sud-Ouest. Bernard Okaliabilai rassure, les auteurs de cet assassinat seront pourchassés et mis aux arrêts. Pour les membres de la société civile, il s'agit d'une manœuvre pour maintenir le climat de terreur au sein des populations. Plusieurs initiatives ont été pourtant mises sur pied par l'État afin de ramener le calme dans les régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest. Parmi lesquels la tenue du grand dialogue national, la création d'un statut spécial pour les régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest, la libération des personnes détenues en lien avec la crise sociopolitique, entre autres. Le gouverneur du Sud-Ouest a interpellé les élites locales et les populations à dénoncer toute personne rendue coupable de crimes. Rien ne saurait justifier que l'on ôte aussi brutalement la vie à une innocente citoyenne.
La gendarmerie nationale porte le deuil et rend un hommage appuyé à l'un de ses braves soldats froidement assassinés par les individus à l'agence de voyage Finesse il y a quelques jours à Douala. La cérémonie de levée de corps du maréchal des logis Armel Lempinem Joseph était l'occasion pour la grande famille des Bérets Rouges de saluer l'œuvre immense de ce soldat. À 33 ans, il retourne à la terre de ses ancêtres à Bertois, laissant derrière lui une fiancée et 4 enfants. 5 morts et 24 personnes grièvement blessées, c'est le triste bilan d'un accident de la circulation survenu ce matin à Badankili, à 85 km de Garoua. Le mauvais stationnement d'un bus sera à l'origine de cet accident. Le commandant de groupement de circulation numéro 3 de Garoua et ses éléments se sont rendus sur les lieux et appellent les usagers de la route à plus de prudence et de vigilance. Le récit des faits, Oumarou Boubakari.
Rien ne présageait une telle journée pour les 53 passagers à bord d'un bus appartenant à une agence de la place immatriculé LT 511 JJ en provenance de Ngaoundéré pour rallier Garoua ce jeudi. Le pire est survenu au lieu d'Ibadankali, non loin du canton de Gounna dans l'arrondissement de Lagdo.
On a glissé d'abord, ça a pris la route pour partir, encore ça a tombé encore. Le tirac est cassé seulement, on a tombé.
Il ressort que le bus de 70 places sortait de Ngaoundéré pour se rendre à Garoua. Arrivé à ces lieux, il a été gêné par le car et qui a fait en sorte qu'il se renverse.
Un accident de plus sur la nationale numéro 1, Ngaoundéré-Garoua, qui interpelle les usagers de la route à plus de prudence sur nos routes.
Respecter le code de la route, d'aller doucement, et c'est ça seulement qui peut sauver la vie des gens à destination.
Le corps des victimes sont déposés à la morgue pendant que les 24 blessés sont internés à l'hôpital régional de Garoua. Une enquête est ouverte par les éléments du peloton routier afin de déterminer les causes réelles de cet accident de trop sur nos routes.
L'Assomption, c'est demain. En cette veille de célébration, l'heure est au nettoyage dans les paroisses catholiques à la chapelle Saint-Augustin de Ngousso. Ici même à Yaoundé, en dehors de mettre la propreté, le programme de la journée annonce les baptêmes pour les tout-petits. Les plus grands, eux, vont vers leur première communion demain, jour de commémoration de la montée de Marie au ciel. Clara Desmaraps.
Un air de fête règne déjà dans les paroisses catholiques. En cette veille de célébration de la montée de la Vierge Marie vers les cieux, on fait le grand nettoyage. À la paroisse Saint-Augustin de Ngousso, ici à Yaoundé, la propreté des lieux a commencé très tôt cette matinée. Le sol est lavé, les bancs nettoyés pour la circonstance. À l'honneur ce 15 août, une attention particulière est accordée au nettoyage et à la propreté autour de la statue de la Vierge Marie par les fidèles de la paroisse. La fête de l'Assomption rime également avec baptême et première communion. Pour les aînés qui reçoivent leur première communion, c'est demain le grand jour. Mais avant, ils sont soumis à de nombreux rituels. Chaque année ici, la veille de l'Assomption, les catéchumènes se confessent et reçoivent les dernières recommandations des dirigeants avant de recevoir le Saint-Sacrement. En ce qui concerne les tout-petits, la fête a déjà commencé. Au cours de cette messe de cycle,
la Fondation Inamadungu poursuit sa lutte pour l'égalité raciale. Hier jeudi, elle a organisé une exposition photo sur la traite négrière afin de se souvenir de là où nous venons, le chemin parcouru, mais surtout faire de demain un jour plus lumineux pour les Noirs. Emmanuel Laurence Okalia.
Le devoir de mémoire a rassemblé les défenseurs de la cause du noir sous les ailes de la Fondation Inamadungu, ici à Yaoundé. Le combat contre l'esclavage, mais aussi le racisme, percute les consciences et repousse les frontières de la liberté de penser.
Trancher avec le silence qui couvre les crimes de l'esclavage. Cette fondation tient à continuer un travail de sensibilisation, un appel à la couleur noire, au peuple noir, de reconquérir leur humanisme.
Une exposition photo qui rappelle les blessures de nos ancêtres, des sévices physiques qui essaient des lésions émotionnelles à la race noire. Les rythmes traditionnels viennent accompagner le travail de ces chercheurs en histoire.
Voilà donc l'appel que la Fondation lance afin que le monde se mobilise et afin que nous puissions non seulement reconquérir l'image qui doit être la nôtre, la personnalité qui doit être la nôtre, mais également que nous puissions bénéficier, s'il le faut, des retombées de l'enrichissement de tous ceux qui ont travaillé à mettre en place, à codifier la traite des nègres.
La Fondation Inamadungu multipliera des activités dans ce sens afin de continuer à briser les chaînes invisibles de la stigmatisation de la race noire.
Toujours en culture, la finale du concours national de slam aura lieu dès demain à 18h au musée de la Blackitude, ici même à Yaoundé. Je vous propose de comprendre les enjeux de cet art oratoire avec Rodrigue Nzana, un slameur et membre du comité d'organisation. Il est au micro de Caresse Essiane.
D'une joute oratoire qui réunit les meilleures plumes, les meilleurs poètes oraux sur l'ensemble du territoire et qui sacre un vainqueur qui va représenter le Cameroun à la Coupe d'Afrique de Slam tous les 2 ans. La prochaine, ce sera à Addis Abeba en 2021. Elle aura lieu, cette grande finale, parce qu'il s'agit de la finale, demain à partir de 15h au musée de la Blackitude. Et puis, eh bien voilà. Je suis le champion national 2016 et je suis ambassadeur pour la Coupe d'Afrique de Slam au Cameroun. Voilà, je redeviens ce garçon d'air doux, courageux et qui avance dans la vie sans craindre les instants de dos d'âne. C'est lui qui porte ton sourire de Paris à Deido triomphera toujours, partant de Yaoundé à partout et te portant dans mon cœur. Je l'emporterai surtout venant de bien loin pourtant. Et pour toi, Cameroun, je gagnerai tout ce que l'on peut citer d'important. Prénom Rodrigue Nondiana, profession parolier.
Ces mots qui nous ensorcellent, c'est ce que nous avions pour le 19h sur CRTV News. Merci de choisir cette chaîne pour vous tenir informés. L'info continue sur CRTV News avec TWILIGHT et vous, Moki.
Thanks, Christelle Avom. We are now taking yet another break. When we come back this time around, we end today's edition of Twilight on CRTV News with our supplement, which is the cultural supplement.
This time around, we are going to take you to Boya in the southwest region, where Minister Paul Tangenji was there.
Les élections auront bel et bien lieu le 9 février prochain. Ça a été dit dans la communication gouvernementale.
La question du statut spécial n'est pas à l'ordre du jour dans ce contexte, parce qu'il est d'abord question pour le gouvernement, pour l'État du Cameroun, de doter ces deux régions de représentants.
Après avoir dressé un tableau de la situation sécuritaire dont les points préoccupants restent le sud-ouest, le nord-ouest et l'extrême nord, Joseph Bétier Assommo a exhorté ses collaborateurs à élaborer un plan qui puisse garantir un déroulement serein de ces deux grands moments de la vie de la nation.
6th of November 1982, 37 years after, we're concerned with what the New Deal has achieved over the years.
CRTV News, nothing but the news.
In line with the International Youth Day that was observed on August 10, our newsroom has been running a series of reports on the contribution of various segments of the society, of the youth groups, to the development of our country. And today, Annabella Tabi now looks at the contribution of young artists to the development of the country's culture. She has as guest the award-winning artist Wax Day. Annabelle, over to you.
To your Friday cultural supplement on CRTV News. August 12 has been observed in Cameroon and the world at large as the International Youth Day, under the theme Youth Engagement for Global Actions. Today, we are talking about how young artists in the country have been contributing to the development of the country with their art. And we have no other than award-winning artist Wax Day to talk about how young people have been using their platforms in influencing young people and in developing the country. Hello and welcome to the program, Wax Day.
Hello, thank you for having me.
First, I would like to begin by saying that you have been active with assisting victims of sexual abuse. Can you tell us more about your work as not only as an artist but as an activist?
Yes, absolutely. One of the first missions I undertook as an activist was working the fight against human trafficking with the International Organization for Migration. So initially I joined the organization as a counter-trafficking expert, and then moved into communications. But after that, obviously, I evolved into delivering consultancy services to IOM, UNHCR, and other organizations that deal with trafficked women and trafficked persons generally. And notably, I had a personal initiative called the South African Human Trafficking Awareness Week, which I initiated as my means of contributing to the fight against human trafficking. So basically it involved getting together media personalities, getting together over 40 radio and TV stations, and artists and soccer teams such as Kaizer Chiefs in South Africa, and delivering a powerful campaign for 1 week to inform the country what was the dangers of human trafficking in South Africa. It was named as a global best practice in the fight against human trafficking by the US State Department, and subsequently it has become an annual calendar event run by the National Prosecuting Authority of South Africa, and also copied by other countries which now run, including the United States, which now run an annual Human Trafficking Awareness Week.
Okay, and recently you've also been very active participating in different meetings with the Ministry of Arts and Culture and that of Youth Affairs and Civic Education.
Absolutely.
So what have you pulled out from these meetings?
There's a new wave of activism among Cameroonian youths, and I'm very glad to be at the forefront of that wave. And Cameroonian artists who are starting to use their musical power as a force to contribute to development. Mm-hmm. The WWF, has launched what is called the New Deal for Nature and for People, which is seeking for a more positive commitment by heads of states and governments to reversing the cause of loss of biodiversity and climate change by 2040. And so we are agents supporting that change, and we're doing so by mobilizing other young people, by speaking to leaders, galvanizing action towards a strong resolution at the UN General Assembly in favor of more positive action for biodiversity. The WWF champions for nature include Salasiel, Daphne, Mr. Leo, Achaleke Christian, Onyama Laura, and we're meeting ministers as part of that lobbying activity, as part of advocacy. It's not just about mobilizing people and posting about it on social media, but also talking to our leaders and asking them for their support so that we can go up to the level of the Prime Minister and the head of states, so that we have a strong declaration for them so that they can adhere to the New Deal for nature and for people. And so we had the good opportunity, to meet the Minister of Youth Affairs and Civic Education on the occasion of the celebration of International Youth Day, where we got a chance to interact with him, his directors, as well as other young people, and the National Youth Council, the President of the National Youth Council, as well as the Director of WWF, about how we could work together to mobilize youth across the country to add their voices to this. It was a very beautiful experience. I'm very elated and very proud of the fact that our leaders are now giving us a platform to work with them and to interact with them. We also met on Thursday the Minister of Youth, the Minister of Environment, who received us very warmly and with all the pomp that could be expected, and gave his solemn also commitment to ensure that he accompanies us in the process, because we are not just at the level where we are talking to people. Now we need to put our hands together. We have a common vision with the government when it comes to protecting the environment. But then in order to make sure that we change the mindsets and attitudes of people, we change the activities such as wildlife poaching that put our nature at risk, and that we have a global agreement by governments at the Heads of State Summit on biodiversity and at UNGA 75, that we get this global commitment. I think it should come from the grassroots, starting with us, starting with our followers, starting with the leaders that as leaders, but also are part of our population, and of course ending with the decision makers at whose hands this decision rests. So overall, it's been very positive. On the cultural side, of course, we met the Minister of Arts and Culture on Wednesday, still as a group of artists, and we had a chance to talk about youth engagement generally and placing youth at the center of policy when it comes to artistic and cultural development. There's a new law on artistic and cultural development that has been just been promulgated. It is a very positive law in the sense that there's been no law to regulate the sector in the past, and this very important sector for our economy and for our GDP. So the law that's regulating the creation of associations is actually regulating what should become one of the biggest contributors to the GDP in Cameroon in a very short time. And so we're just showing appreciation for that law, but also pointing out that there are some shortcomings that have been identified. And it's our place to work with the government to ensure that we contribute to the refinement of that law, and especially to application texts, so that when it comes out, it can serve the purpose for which it is done effectively. And that can also be achieved. The head of states has said repeatedly that the young people are the future of the country. We are calling on him, we're calling on the Minister of Arts and Culture, to make good on that declaration by continuing to encourage, as he has done by opening his doors to us, by continuing to encourage young people to come forth and work with the government and give us a chance to use our expertise, our energy in this new digital age to make sure that the music industry is carried forward so that it can compete with the best globally. We already have very good products. Beyonce just collaborated with Salasiel. Yes. I've been working with Yemi Alade Dibanj. Mr. Leo has been going international. Daphne has filled up a stage in Madagascar. So I think that we are at a stage where we're able to command the same respect that artists command in the United States. But for that, we need to work with the government. And when such instruments as this law come, it's important because it gives us a solid foundation to impress the world with our art, starting by impressing our own population. So we have to take the responsibility.
And it won't be fair to our audience
to
let you go without a little a cappella. Not only our audience, but your fans as well. Watching.
Well, I know we're going through a lot now in the country, and in the north, in the northwest and southwest, but Cameroon is a beautiful country. We are blessed to be Cameroonian, and I think that things will get better for everybody. We just have to hold the faith, promote peace and unity, and things will get better. That's why we did the song. Cameroon go better, Bamenda go better, Tuala go better, Kumbasef go better, oh. He go better, he go better, he go better, oh. He go better, he go better, he go better, oh. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Wednesday, thanks for talking to CRTV News. And that was your Friday Cultural Supplement on CRTV News. Thanks for watching, and Twilight continues on this channel.
Annabella Tabinto with her guest there singing that Cameroon will be better. Of course, let's keep on having hope that our country will be better than it is now, and of course it shall be. That's where we end today's edition of Twilight on CRTV News. I am Moki Edwin Kinzakan Yaoundé. Thanking you for watching and wishing you a beautiful weekend ahead. Bye now.